Coming up on this edition of The Shield, National Cybersecurity Awareness Month has begun. We have the details on how you can stay safe online.
And we pay a visit to an Illinois city still cleaning up after an F4 tornado ripped through last November.
Cooler week ahead, but we will be seeing mostly dry conditions. That chance for rain returns on Thursday. I'll have all the details and more coming up in just a few minutes, but right now you're watching The Shield on VUTV.
Your love is bright as ever, even in the shadows. Baby, kiss me before they turn the lights out. Your heart is glowing.
Thank you for joining us on this edition of The Shield. I'm Aimee Heyden.
And I'm Teddy Riethmeier.
October is National Cybersecurity Awareness Month, and VUTV sat down with IT Director Becky Klein to speak more about IT's plans to keep students safe online.
National Cybersecurity Awareness Month is a month that's actually sponsored by the U.S. government to help raise awareness of issues surrounding cybersecurity and how people can protect themselves and their information from being taken by people who want to use it for shall we say, nefarious deeds. There are a few ways that students can protect themselves. One of the first and best ways is when you have a computer or some device, make sure you install some kind of antivirus or anti-malware program on it. Keep it updated and run regular scans to make sure that you're checking to make sure that your computer is healthy, so to speak. You also want to make sure that you don't share your password or login information with anyone. Not your best friend, your roommate, your boyfriend or girlfriend, your parents, nobody. It's your information alone. IT staff will actually never ask you for your password. We do have sites that use your password to log in, such as the account management system, Blackboard Learn, your Google Mail, things like that. But we will never ask you to tell us what your password is, and we will never ask you to send us your password in an email or enter it in an online form or anything like that. We're offering open workshops on Wednesdays in the month of October. They'll be at 2:30 p.m. Over in the Christopher Center, room 261, one of the labs there. The first week was on email phishing. Next week's topic will be about Google two-step verification. The following week will be password management. The fourth week of October, we actually don't have a workshop because we'll be doing some data view refresher sessions for the first year students. But then the final week of October, we'll be having another session. That one will be on mobile security, mobile devices, and how to protect yourself when you're using those.
This past Sunday, students of Saudi Arabian heritage, as well as people of other nationalities, were welcomed to Valpo's annual Saudi Day. Traditional Saudi Arabian dishes were made and served specifically for this event, as students dressed in traditional clothing, which is custom in their nation. The festivities kicked off with an informational speech, which was followed by the main event. Traditional dancing. Saudi Arabian students performed traditional dances specific to the different regions of their country. The event closed with the singing of the national anthem while the performers proudly held the Saudi Arabian flag on stage.
Almost a year ago, the city of Washington, Illinois was devastated by an EF4 tornado. Although the city is about 170 miles from campus, the devastation hit close to home to Valpo. Storm Shield meteorologist Lynette Grant traveled to Washington and shows us how the city has coped since the storm hit.
This is November 17th, 2013, and this may never look the same again.
And it most definitely was not the same after a massive EF4 tornado rolled through Washington, Illinois last November. A late-season weather setup caused an explosive complex of severe storms that Sunday, affecting thousands of people. Freshman Patrick Veek lives just north of Washington and recalls what he saw that afternoon.
I was speechless, but I was helpless. It was the most helpless feeling I've ever had in my entire life. There was a natural gas leak, so everybody was surrounding me had lost their homes except me. The smells, the wood, natural gas, everything. It's one of the most terrifying feelings I just ever had.
As soon as the need for recovery was made available, relief came pouring in from around the country. Joe Sikowski is one of those volunteers who has been back to Washington multiple times. He had this to say when asked why he keeps volunteering.
Sometimes you don't really realize how good you have it in your life And for some things that can seem to be a challenge, something like this really puts things in perspective.
Now, nearly a year later after that devastating tornado, volunteer work still remains, from picking up debris in fields, building sheds, and even moving families into their new homes. But despite the obstacles, the city of Washington has grown closer and stronger due to the help of complete strangers.
It's been wonderful to see all the people come in, and I definitely over the summer I saw a lot of help.
Reporting for The Shield on VUTV, I'm Storm Shield meteorologist Lynette Grant.
Still to come on The Shield, an update on same-sex marriage in 5 states.
And we have an update on the protests in Hong Kong.
And your Storm Shield weather forecast with Will Haenni.
Thank you, Aimee. Well, we will be seeing some cooler conditions into this next week. We'll be right around average for the next couple of days, and then we'll drop off just a little bit, and there will be some days in there we might be even seeing some rain. So I'll have all your details and more coming up in just a second. Don't go anywhere.
Good morning, Valparaiso University. What's a better way to start your day than with a new jam? And WVUR has just what you need.
But if you close your eyes, does it almost feel like nothing changed at all? And if you close your eyes, does it... If Daniel won't change your mind, baby, right.
Broadcasting sports, news, weather, and music, on air, online, and on campus. WVUR is my jam.
Welcome back to The Shield. On Monday, the Supreme Court refused to hear cases from the states of Utah, Oklahoma, Wisconsin, Indiana, and Virginia regarding their ban on same-sex marriage. These states wanted the Supreme Court to keep the same-sex marriage ban in place. This now means that same-sex marriage is now legal in those states. The decision by the High Court could mean that states like West Virginia, North Carolina, South Carolina, Kansas, Colorado, and Wyoming, who still have the ban in place, could soon offer marriage equality. If they do, that would raise the number of states permitting same-sex marriage from 19 to 30.
And we begin tonight with the spread of the Ebola virus here in the United States. On September 28th, Thomas Duncan was admitted to Texas Presbyterian Hospital for exhibiting symptoms of the Ebola virus. He is the first person known to be diagnosed with Ebola in the United States. And now government officials and health officials are stressing the importance of caution when dealing with the spread of the Ebola virus.
Today, I'm calling on the federal government to implement a plan to beef up protections at United States airports, at U.S. ports, and at our hospitals. Let me repeat, you can never be too careful when it comes to something like Ebola.
Senator Schumer also proposed that hospitals are given lists of those screened travelers in an effort to avoid the Dallas hospital mistake. Thomas Eric Duncan was actually sent home from the hospital when he first sought treatment, even though he mentioned he had traveled from Liberia.
No boots on the ground. That's been President Obama's stance on the fight with ISIS. However, Senator Lindsey Graham spoke with CNN on Sunday, saying that there is no way to defeat the terror organization without them.
I think most Americans understand if we don't destroy ISIL, if they survive our best shot, that we're all less safe. And at the end of the day, you cannot destroy ISIL in Syria without a ground component. And what we're doing with the Free Syrian Army is militarily unsound. To train these young men up in Saudi Arabia without first establishing a no-fly zone to take Assad's air power off the table will lead to their slaughter. It is immoral. There is no way that I can see how we fix the problem in Iraq and Syria without American ground troops.
As of now, the U.S. strategy has focused on airstrikes against ISIS targets.
Last week, we told you about the protests in Hong Kong. This week, pro-democracy protesters continued the protests by filling the streets on Sunday, despite a warning from the territory's top official to clear out by Monday. The rationale? For people to return to work and school to resume.
20-year-old Ping Wong hasn't slept in 2 days, but he's still got work to do, distributing water and other supplies to protesters at the main site of the Hong Kong democracy demonstrations. He's one of an army of volunteers that keep this movement going.
I've been here for 5 days, and I see all of publics are doing their best Yeah, so I'm staying here.
Getting these supplies out is a grassroots but highly effective operation. Volunteers say that there's no official organisation here, but there's no question that they are organised. This is one of 10 stations set up around this area to meet the needs of the tens of thousands of protesters. Communication is key. Volunteers use walkie-talkies and apps like Telegram to figure out who needs what supplies. And we're talking about the essentials: water, food, goggles and raincoats for protection against gas and pepper spray, even sodium chloride to help rinse out eyes, and of course umbrellas, hundreds of them. Everything here is donated. It's the generosity of supporters across Hong Kong that sustains these protesters, but it's also the kindness of strangers that keeps their spirits up. Even for the less glamorous aspects of a protest, garbage collection and street cleaning, there's no shortage of help, right down to the recycling.
I just come today, because of other obligation, I can only make it this morning. So I come here and then I saw this, and then I think it's something that we have to take care of.
And it goes on day and night, rain or shine.
Thank you very much.
And even in the middle of a rainstorm, the protest supporters here are still handing out these rain jackets to try to protect the die-hard protesters who are actually toughing this out. One of the many acts of humanity in the midst of this political storm. Andrew Stevens, CNN, Hong Kong.
But the students leading the protests have no intent of backing down. Some of the demonstrators began moving from the main protest site outside of Hong Kong's chief executive office Sunday. However, another group has pledged to take their place. Demonstrators are upset over the election process and want the right to choose who can run as a candidate for the chief executive office in 2017. At least 30 people have been arrested since just last Friday.
U.S. Olympic champion Michael Phelps says he's taking a break from swimming to focus on himself. He made the announcement on his Facebook and Twitter accounts Sunday. This decision comes after Phelps was charged last Tuesday with driving under the influence of alcohol, excessive speeding, and crossing double lane lines on a Baltimore interstate. Phelps registered a 14% on the breathalyzer. His trial is set for November 19th. This is Phelps' second DUI-related charge in Maryland. In the statement, Phelps said, quote, "The past few days have been extremely difficult. I recognize that this is not my first lapse in judgment, and I am extremely disappointed with myself. I'm going to take some time away to attend a program that will provide the help I need to better understand myself. Swimming is a major part of my life, but right now I need to focus my attention on me as an individual and do the necessary work to learn from the experience and make better decisions in the future." Phelps was arrested for drunken driving in 2004. He pled guilty and was sentenced to 18 months probation.
And the iPhone 6 Plus has hit the markets hard over the last several weeks, despite the issues brought up over the possibility of the bending screen. Apple is continuing their unveiling trend. Technology news site Recode reports Apple will hold an event on October 16th to highlight updates to the iPad line. The site says Apple will also show off their new iMacs and the latest update to the OS X operating system. The iPad was once the leading tablet in the market, but recently it has been struggling. In its most recent quarterly filing, Apple said iPad revenue had slipped 8% from a year before, and the number of units it sold fell by about the same amount. Coming up after the break, Will Haenni joins us with his full weather forecast.
For over 100 years, VU has trusted the torch for reliable and accurate accounts of campus happenings. And with an end of a century, we would like to say thanks.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Velpo.
We have been covering stories that will impact you both in print and online. For Player Spotlight and next week events, to the opinions you have, count on us as Valpo's most reliable source for campus happenings. 4-time winner of College Weekly of the Year, The Torch, home of the truth, celebrating 100 years of excellence in journalism. And now your dependable and accurate weather forecast with meteorologist Will Haenni.
We have a beautiful fall week in store. We will be seeing slightly cooler temperatures by the second half of this week, but the good news is the next couple of days should be right on par with where we should be at this time of year. It'll be mostly dry as well, which is very fortunate for us. There will be a chance for rain though come Thursday, so I'll have all those details and more coming up in just a couple of minutes in my 5-day forecast. But our temperatures Tuesday evening, 51 degrees here in Valpo. It will be quite chilly out there, so you're going to want to wear a jacket if you're out and about on campus, and we will cool throughout the night to a low of around 45 degrees. Here in Valparaiso, you can start to see that dip in the jet stream that is bringing those cooler Canadian temperatures down near Valpo. So throughout the day, though, we will warm to around 60 degrees here in Valpo by Wednesday afternoon. And we can start to see those warmer temperatures off to our south as well. If only those could work their way up for us. That would just be a beautiful thing. But unfortunately, they will stay down to our south. We're actually going to be right around average for this time of year. So our RPM forecast model picking up a few spot showers down to our south. By Tuesday evening, we might be seeing just a few residual clouds in our area. But overall, not too bad. And as we advance this forward, that's all just going to clear out for us by Wednesday morning. If you're out and about around 7 o'clock, it's going to be a beautiful clear morning. It will be a little bit on the brisk side though. And throughout the day, we won't see any clouds move their way into our area, so it's going to be a beautiful Wednesday. Again, just a little bit on the chilly side. But as you see, Wednesday evening, you start to see a cloud mass in our southeast start to move its way in, and that is going to bring us some showers eventually come Thursday. So forecast high for today, 65 degrees, low of 44. That's right around average, as you can see. 66 degrees is our average and a low of 44 typically. That high back in 2007, doesn't that sound nice, at 88 degrees. So tonight, a high, or not a high, we'll be sitting right around 50 degrees. At 8 p.m., it'll be mostly clear with a west-southwest wind. And waking up tomorrow morning, as I said, it'll be a little bit on the chilly side, but fortunately mostly clear with a west wind at 5 miles per hour. Tomorrow, 4 o'clock, 62 degrees. It'll be west winds still with 15 to 20 mile per hour winds, and some clouds stick around for the evening. Tomorrow night, 48 degrees as your temperature. So our 5-day forecast, Wednesday, Thursday, as you can see, looking pretty nice, right around average for this time of year. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, though, we're into the 50s for our highs, and that chance for rain comes Thursday. And for your homecoming weekend, Saturday, a beautiful day in store with a high of around 58 and a low of 42. But Sunday, Teddy, you're going to want to get out those hot pink rain boots that I saw you bragging about earlier, so just keep that in mind. But overall, a beautiful weekend in store, very fall-like.
Yeah, you know, they usually say suns out, guns out, but I've noticed you are more towards the suns out, buns out type way in those short shorts I see you wearing on campus. Are we going to get that again later this year or not?
I don't know. I think I packed those away for the winter. So.
All right. Thank goodness.
Yeah.
Well, thanks, Will. Up next, Rachel Dabertin will join us in the studio.
Hi, everybody. I'm Dick Vitale of ESPN, and I'm on VUTV. It's awesome, baby, with a capital A.
Joining us now in studio is Rachel Dabertin with a look at Crusader sports. Rachel?
Thanks, guys. This weekend presented a series of ups and downs for Valpo athletics this time around. Beginning with the positive, both women's teams did dominate, taking home victories in both volleyball and soccer. The Crusaders held host to a doubleheader facing Horizon League opponents Youngstown State and Cleveland State this past weekend. The first game, held Friday against defensive Youngstown, started off a bit shaky with a loss in the first set. Although nothing came between the Crusaders and a victory. Fighting back to win, the next 3 sets Valpo took control, earning a 3-1 victory against the Penguins. Overall, the team's hitting percentage was high, and junior Kelsey Barrington was the standout, handing out 43 assists to go along with her 6 kills. Saturday presented a much different atmosphere as Coach Karen Avery and her Crusaders wasted no time jumping on the Vikings in the first match. Grabbing a 25-9 victory, the same followed for the next, but surprisingly fell short in the third. The Crusaders once again were presented with a challenge, but nothing came in the way as senior Morgan Bile was on fire with a record-setting performance with the highest hitting percentage in a 4-match in over 30 years. Bile ended the night with 15 kills and earning a 7.37 hitting average. Fellow senior Kelsey Victor did not fall behind, having an outstanding game. The senior contributed 11 kills on 18 attacks. The Crusaders finished with a perfect weekend, winning the last set for a 3-1 victory against the Cleveland State Vikings. Women's soccer had a thrilling game this past Saturday evening facing Loyola. Senior night at Brownfield started off positively for the Crusaders, scoring twice in the first match and allowing Loyola to only score once in the second. Valpo took home yet another win, ending the night 2-1 over Loyola. The win extended the Crusaders' unbreakable streak of 10 consecutive matches. It was only fitting that the match-winning goal was bombed 30 yards out by a senior midfielder, Kristen Warren. A change in the weather brought freezing temperatures to football this weekend. Saturday afternoon's game against Marist State, fans gathered and watched what would have been the Crusaders' second win of the season. Excitement ran fast through the crowd as wide receiver Tanner Kumata took a handoff for Ben Lamon and scored the first touchdown of the game. After allowing the Red Foxes to score and tie the game in the first half, the Crusaders entered the second and fell apart after several unsuccessful punting attempts. Marist took a 21-point lead in the second half and ran with it, ending the game with a final score of 35-7. Also on the field, Valpo's men's soccer traveled to Flames Field to face off UIC on Wednesday evening. The team suffered its first loss on the road as they fell short, allowing UIC to score in the first. Valpo tried to return a goal only minutes later when senior midfielder Nick Suker went to score but was blocked by UIC's goalkeeper. Valpo was defeated 1-0. Well, that's all we have for Valpo Sports, but remember to stay connected to all things Valpo Athletics at valpoathletics.com. Guys, back to you.
Thanks, Rachel. After the break, Will is back for a last look at your Valpo weather forecast. Stay with us.
Your love is bright as ever.
On a campus plagued with terrible weather, Valpo students suffer from boredom with no motivation to leave their room. They begin to search for free movies and stumble upon Valpo's new free movie streaming website, where you get unlimited free access to recent movies like Despicable Me 2 and Jobs at the tips of your fingers. So if you're feeling bored, then don't wait. Grab some friends, find a seat, and enjoy a movie on movies.valpo.edu.
This year, Valpo Athletics introduced the Crusader Scholarship Challenge. 3 awards will be handed out to the top Crusader fans.
Our very own Andrew Riethmeier sat down with the Director of Marketing for Athletics, Fred Villarule, to get the details of the challenge.
It's a social media-based contest. We sat down this year in the summer to kind of decide, hey, we have a Valpo Rewards program. This is its 3rd year going on now, and what can we do to really get students and fans just interested in it? It has had some success, but most of the time our prizes and stuff like that were all experience-based. So a free pizza party for you and 19 of your friends at the Detroit basketball game, a free round of golf with Bryce and Mark LaBarbera at the Dabertin, like that kind of stuff that didn't really cost money. So in our 3rd year, we said, okay, it's gone well for the first 2 years. What can we do to make it better? So we said we're going to invest money in it first. We put out feelers on social media asking students and fans, what do you want to see for Valpo Rewards? They said flat screen TVs, PlayStation 4s, gift cards. I said, okay, we can do all that. But what can we do to really take it to the next level? And that's when we decided, what about if we could give out free tuition? It had been an idea that we thought we could do maybe at a basketball game. We pitched it to the athletic director saying, hey, what about if we gave out free tuition if someone were to hit a full court shot? It's not guaranteed that they're going to do it. And he kind of laughed and said, well, that's above me. I really can't say we can do that or we can't do that. And so we came up with this idea of the Crusader Scholarship Challenge, where essentially we're giving away a free scholarship to Valpo's biggest fan. And first place is a free year of tuition. Second place is free housing, and third place is a free meal plan. So if you're one of the top 3 finishers in points, you're going to get something. The thing about the Scholarship Challenge is it's not just for students. So parents, family members, anyone in the community can participate. And if they are the person that wins, they can designate that scholarship to whoever they want. Seniors can use it for grad school. When we did the research, we couldn't find another school in the country that was doing something like this. We like to make it a big deal, so that's how we came up with the Crusader Scholarship Challenge. It's basically to reward our fans of Valpo Athletic.
And joining us one last time is Will Haenni with a final look at weather. What do you got for us, Will?
Well, Teddy, a mostly clear night is in store. We're going to drop to around 44 degrees, so it will be on the chilly side. So if you're heading out tonight, you're going to want a sweater or maybe a light jacket. And that wind will be out of the west at 5 to 10 miles per hour. So keep that in mind as you're heading out. Tomorrow, 62 degrees, so it'll be pretty warm, pretty average day. Beautiful fall weather for us here in Valpo with a west wind at 15 to 20 miles per hour. And just one last look at your 5-day forecast. Like I've been saying, average conditions for the next couple of days with just a slight chance for rain on Thursday, but homecoming weekend looking pretty nice. Saturday, a beautiful sunny day with a high of around 58, but come Sunday, a chance for rain returns, but hopefully not before those fireworks Saturday night. So great weekend ahead.
Yeah, finally break from Valpo rain snow, right?
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah, and that's going to do it for this episode of The Shield. I'm Teddy Riethmeier.
And I'm Aimee Heyden. To get on-demand VUTV coverage, log on to youtube.com/ValpoVUTV or like us on Facebook, and be sure to follow us on Twitter at ValpoVUTV. For Will Haenni, Rachel Dabertin, and all of us here at VUTV, have a great rest of the week.
Your love is bright as ever. Even in the shadows. Baby, kiss me before they turn the lights out.